Hello, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to talk about the new comic books I picked up this week, New Comic Book Day, December 4th. First, we're going to start off with Absolute Superman #2, written by Jason Aaron, art by Rafa Sandoval. And, when I talked about the Absolute titles, I did say that Absolute Superman I enjoyed, and it made me ask some questions that I wanted to kind of learn more about. And we do get some answers to the questions. There's still more questions, but it's only issue 2, so naturally that's going to be the case. But what intrigued me most about this concept is that Clark, or he's not Clark yet, or if he will be, I don't know, whatever. But it's hard to not call him Clark. Kal-El is he remembers life on Krypton. He was there most of his life. I think he was there maybe till like a teenager. I'm assuming it's like maybe teenager-ish is when Krypton is destroyed and he leaves the planet. So you see some of his life on Krypton as a student. There's some interesting commentary about AI and the ethical implications of how it is, ethical applications of how it is used. Kal-El is in school, and he's being accused of using AI to write his reports. And so I think that's interesting to see that kind of commentary in a comic book where, there's the real world debate on the ethics of AI and how it plays into when it comes to creative ownership of things and how AI is just absorbing all of this creative content and regurgitating it. So I think that's kind of cool to see in a comic book because that's something that is definitely a topic of conversation. But anyway, so you pick up Kal-El from the events of last issue where Lois Lane is introduced, and she's a soldier in this version of the comic, and she has kind of captured Kal-El. She's handcuffed him, and you see their interaction. You see that she's trying to get information from him, and he is immediately just viewed as a threat. So the peacemakers that are also there, they just decide they're going to light him up, and they're going to try to just take him down at the and it's been noted that the soldier Lois Lane is expendable. So Kal-El does kind of get out of there, saves her. Now, there are some differences about this, and one of the big differences is one of the differences that I don't know that I enjoy about this version of Superman. And it's it leans more into the topic of AI. His suit is it has it's an AI component. There's a sentience, conscience. He interacts with his suit. It talks to him. It has a name. His name is Saul. You learn that in this issue. I think it was revealed in this issue, not the first issue. But so there's a back and forth that they have throughout the issue while Lois is trying to get information from Kal-El. Kal-El is dealing with talking to the Saul, who's like telling him get out of there. So you see that. Kal-El has a concern for the safety of Lois Lane, while both the soldiers and Saul are like, whatever, just get the hell out of there. So you see the morality of Superman. So that's definitely there. It's just I don't know that I like having the Krypton presence directly connected to his suit. Now I guess that is something that is going to be revealed in future issues because it talks about. As I believe that the suit was developed by his parents on Krypton, and I don't know. I hope they don't lean on that too much. What I personally would like to see is it's not a bad idea to have his suit have an AI component to it, but what I would like to see happen is that the suit is somehow destroyed and the Saul is gone. And then it's just Superman, kind of relying on himself and his remembering of Krypton and having that be his connection, not needing a direct connection anymore. Whereas that's something that in older Superman, previous versions of Superman, that's something he was craving. He was craving more information of Krypton. So there was a goal to have that connection and to seek that out. I would like to see that connection just severed and gone because he has his own memories of Krypton. He doesn't need that connection. So we'll see. The other part about the suit is it seems to have his cape kind of comes out of the suit the soup. His cape comes out of the suit, and when needed, and it kind of like gets kind of, I guess, sucked back in. Not entirely clear about that. The cape kind of seems to have this. I don't know. It's not. I mean, I guess it could be like nanotech kind of type of technology. I'm not quite sure, but whenever you see the cape, there's a fuzzy kind of nature to it. They talk about the dust. I think they refer to it as dust. So it might be like some type of organic something. I don't know. But I don't know that I like that about it either. As I don't know that I like that the suit is providing him with assistance. I would rather just see it be Superman and see it be just him, and that's kind of what some of the elements of what I've liked about Superman stories in the past is it's just him. Yes, he's got superpowers, but he doesn't need to rely on other things. So we'll see. It'd be interesting to see if I feel like they can't destroy the suit because there's this this is the new design. This is the look of absolute Superman, and then to have it be changed almost instantly. I mean, I'm asking them to do that, but I highly doubt that that's what they're going to do. So that's where some of my my kind of hang-ups come with this version of Superman. Not bad. It's still a good story. I enjoyed the issue. I thought it was a good issue. I thought you see some of the traditional characteristics of Lois Lane, even though she is a soldier. You see, the core of who the character is. You see that, which is nice to see. But I don't know. I will keep getting this. But there are things about it that it has nothing to do, not to the fault of the story or this version. It's just my personal views on what I would want Superman to be. There's some elements of that I just don't like. I don't like the suit. So when I talked about that, I probably too much. But yeah, whatever. It's an element that I don't like about this comic, and we'll see how much they lean into that in future issues. So all right. So next up, I have. So I talked about last week. Well, whatever that, a couple days ago, I recorded that other video. But I talked about how it was a light week. It was only Absolute Superman was the only new comic that I bought this week, a new release from this week. But I did because I enjoyed the Rockefellers from the Ghost Machine Family Odysseys line. I did pick up. There was another one that came out. I think this came out last week, but it's called Hornsby and Halo. So this is also written by Peter Tomasi, art by Peter Snijberg. Come on, Snejbjerg. Snijberg. Come on, I don't know. Sorry, dude. Sorry, other Peter. So yeah, this is a story about it says it right in the comic. It's very much a nature versus a nurture story. You learn about how heaven and hell have kind of they were at war for forever. They kind of they came up with a bit of a truce and an experiment where they took a child from hell and a child from heaven, like an angel from heaven, and they sent them to Earth. And they set up the child that's from hell. They set her up with a family that is inherently good and has good qualities about them. And they sent the child, the angel from heaven, to a family who who is not so great. So to kind of test their natural instincts, as where they come from, but also it's the idea that they wanted to. In order to create a longer lasting peace between heaven and hell, they wanted to give these children an appreciation of the other side of things. So the child from hell would kind of get what it's like to be good, and the child from the angel from heaven, what it's like to understand and appreciate and love someone who has not so great qualities. So you pick up. after you learn about the children being taken and sent to Earth, you pick them up and they're like teenagers. They're maybe like 10, 11. I don't know if it says exactly. Or no, there's their birthday. So they're 13. That's what it is. There's a birthday party that they go to, and the kids are 13, and this is a good story. It falls in that, obviously, the family odyssey line, so it's a more of an all ages story. But this is good. This was a good setup, a good start. What's really cool about it is, so they still have their, you see Rose, who's the child from hell, the demon from hell, or whatever you want to call her. She comes from a good family, but she has this obviously this darker side, and you see that kind of coming through. You see the inherent good nature of the boy. His name is Zachary, so it's Zachary and Rose. You see names. I could do that once in a while, but I'm reading it, so it's right in front of me. So you see their inherent nature coming through already, and what's cool is towards the end of the issue, you see them in their they have a, how do I want to say this? It seems to be an out of body experience. Their souls kind of are separate entities, and they go out and so the angel Zachary, his character, goes after some not so great people, and Rose, her demon character, also then arrives on the scene and goes after them as well. So, and then the towards the end of the issue, yeah, I guess this will be more of a full issue recap, but whatever. It's an issue 1, so more on lines of you should go check it out. But you see them kind of wake up and they realize, like, oh my god, we had that out of body experience, and that actually happened. So it's pretty cool. It in some ways it's kind of like a Shazam kind of scenario, but not quite. Shazam it's the same body that just it transforms. But these seem to be like their angel and demon forms leave their body and then go and do things separately, but then they also have that the memory of those actions. So good setup. I thought this was really fun. So I'll keep getting this one, and yeah. So all of the Ghost Machine stuff that I've read has been interesting in its own way, and that's what I think is cool. So it's all under the same umbrella, but yeah, it's been really fun. So along those lines, I talked about how I was going to pick up Rook Exodus and Geiger eventually. Well, actually, I was talking to the shop owner, and I said, "Hey, do you have any copies of Rook Exodus #1?" And he said, "Yeah, I think I have one more left." And so I picked up Rook Exodus #1. I read that one. I also picked up. He still had a copy of Geiger #1. Didn't read that because I wanted to get the volume 1, which is the 6 issues that came out a couple years ago, which that trade is already out. So I want to get that and read it before I start reading the this version, which is volume 2 of Geiger. But anyway, Rook Exodus, really cool sci-fi story, setting up that there's been this war on Earth. There was a mass exodus from Earth, and they largely, a lot of them went to a planet called Exodus. And it was the promise of like a new life, a new great place to live, and eventually there was the downfall of Exodus. So you pick it up, and again you pick up the story where on Exodus people have been leaving Exodus, so it's gotten to the point where now that experiment failed, and that planet is also now pretty desolate. But who are there? Well, I mean, as far as who I know is there, just from what's in the first issue, is this character called Rook, and they have these helmets that they kind of have a predator, like the movie Predator look to them. Their masks, they have that kind of sci-fi-ish design to them, which I think is really cool. But they have these helmets, and each one of them are I think they're called wardens. So each warden has this helmet that is connected to a certain type of animal. So Rook is connected to the birds, and he can kind of control the birds through the helmet. He can communicate and control them through the the helmet, and it's separate from if he doesn't have the helmet on, can't communicate. But yeah, so it's an issue of him kind of going through living his life. He's trying to gather parts to try to get on a ship to leave. A lot of people have already left. So you see him kind of methodically going through and salvaging different apartments, different dwellings, trying to get parts, trying to get alcohol, trying to get food. You see his life on this planet, and then you also he interacts with another character who is this I forget what his name was, but he controls like pigs, swine. Was his name Swine? Maybe, I don't know. Maybe that sounds familiar, but again, whatever. If you watch any of my videos and names are important to you, I apologize, but that's just not who I am and how I read things. Swine. Yeah, the guy's name is Swine. Again, it's right in front of me, so I can get that name. Anyway, so they talk about Swine. Kind of feels like it seems like he's just like whatever. They're living their life, and Rook is more like, let's get the hell out of here. We need to go. So yeah, this was a solid setup. I really, I've heard great things about it, and I can see just from the first issue that it's really great. Jason, I didn't talk about the creative teams. So most of the other Ghost Machine stuff, written by Jeff Johns. So I like there's like a consistency in storytelling there, but they're all a different type of flavor. And so this is written by Jeff Johns, art by Jason Fabok, whose art is really, really damn good. I like his art a lot. So yeah, this was a solid start. I will, I don't know if I'll try to track down the single issues or just wait again until the trade comes out. But I think the trades come out like in, I think February. I think I saw. I was talking to the shop owner, and I think it was February when those come out. So I don't know. I may try to get them beforehand. If not, we'll see. Last one we're going to talk about for this week is it's a comic that I actually had in a box that I bought a couple. I bought it a couple months ago. It's Helen of Wyndhorn #1. Now, I've heard really good things about this. When I picked it up, I didn't know that it was only a 6-issue miniseries, or I probably would have just bought the rest of them. But I did pick up issue 2. Was still at the store, so I picked up issue 2. I did not read issue 2 yet, but I read issue 1, and this was really beautiful. This is a beautiful book. So it's written by Tom King and art by Bilquis. I think it's Bilquis Evely. Bilquis Evely. Now they did that Superman. Is it Superman Woman of Tomorrow, or it's whatever the Supergirl movie is going to be based on? Was this story? And the art on that was really great. I didn't read it. I've seen images that looked really beautiful. Just wasn't something that I wasn't really buying new issues, and I haven't picked up the trade. But after reading this, I should totally read that Supergirl story. But Helen of Wyndhorn. Now, this is a story that it starts off where this woman has been tasked to go retrieve Helen and bring her back to her stately manor that her grandfather is kind of calling her back to the house. This Helen's father is no longer alive, and she loved the fact that her father got away from her grandfather, and I think she has no interest in being at this Wyndhorn estate anymore. But they bring her back, and what I guess a one sentence hook would be, or description would be, if you took something like Downton Abbey and crossed it with Conan. It's kind of like the vibe I get just from the first issue. So you see this like beautiful estate. It's filled with, it looks like there's a 3 or 4 page sequence where it's just Helen being toured around Wyndhorn, because they do take her back there. And it's just like, man, this place is awesome. There's like an armory, all these weapons. There's a wine cellar, all these different rooms. It's just a beautiful, and how it's drawn, it's amazing. Like, it's just such a beautiful setting. The detail, all the different, there's different dishes and pots and food and all the things that are drawn into the background of the pages. It's just stunningly beautiful. It is worth it for the art alone. I don't really know where the story is going, but I would read more of them just for the art. But it's cool. I mean, there's so the setup is, Helen's back there. Her grandfather is not there. He's out on a mission or out away on business, I think is how they describe it. But you know, she's there, doesn't really want to be there. Has gotten into the wine cellar and just is like drinking herself like every day, like whatever. And but she complains about, at night she complains about these monsters are after her, and they think she's just, there's only two people. There's like a butler and then this woman who's like kind of like Helen's caretaker, and watching after her. And I feel like that's the only, so far I think it's the only two people that are only other two people that are at Wyndhorn. But yeah, so they think that she's just, they, like whatever. They don't believe her. But then eventually you do see that there actually are monsters. There's a monster that comes and attacks her, and yeah. So there's definitely great questions that are asked. A wonderful setup for first issue. But yeah, I have issue 2 here. I will read issue 2. I'll probably talk about that in like a next maybe next week or But yeah. So I gotta get the rest of these because this is good. And I also have to shout out to BunkmastaB, who is a fellow YouTuber. He has a great channel. I love watching his videos. He doesn't post a lot. He's not like trying to be one of those guys that's like grinding, which I admire. Like I don't really want to do that either. I like talking about things week to week, but I'm not trying to be like a daily content and all that. No thanks. But what I like about it is when he puts out a video, he has something to say, and I think that's great. He talks about he does some comic art that he opens up. He talks about the comics he's reading, and he has like a great way of talking about and describing the stories that he's reading. And he mentioned this in a video recently that he talked about 10 series that he's currently really enjoying, and I was like, oh wait, I have that first issue somewhere. So I went back and read it because of his video, and yeah, good call, man. So yeah, I'll put a link to his channel in the description. Definitely worth checking out. Not, like I said, not someone that posts videos like all the time, but definitely worth watching when he does. So yeah, thanks to him again. And yeah, that's the rest of what I picked up this week. I think next week is a big week. It's the return of Jorge Corona on Transformers. So gotta get my wallet ready. I think, I don't know, we'll see. I love that art. So yeah, outside of that, I don't remember what's coming out because my brain is like Transformers. Yes, please. Anyway, thank you very much for watching this one, and I will see you soon.